Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, and more specifically, I want to continue talking about this bullish breakout that we've seen on Bitcoin here over the last couple of days. As you guys know, on the 17th of February back over here, Bitcoin broke very bullish out of this descending triangle pattern here, and ever since then has been hovering below key levels of resistance up here in between about $39.50 and about $4,000. And ever since then also, Bitcoin has started to enter this pennant right here that we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, in yesterday's video, I talked about the ramifications of a bearish breakout on Bitcoin, but in today's video, I want to do some more technical analysis, talk about some things that I didn't discuss in that video as to whether or not Bitcoin is going to break bullish or bearish, and also how you can go about trading this market depending on whether it does break bullish or bearish, because it's very important that we understand what this market is going to do. We are definitely at a turning point in the market, and I think that we are definitely going to see potentially very impactful ramifications of either a bullish or a bearish breakout from this. I think it's going to be very major no matter what Bitcoin decides to do. So that's what we're going to be discussing in today's video, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and smash the notification bell, guys. It does help out the channel if you do it. And almost without much further ado, let's get right into it. But first, I want to say that when this video goes live, I'm going to be out of town. There are two videos that are set to premiere. Those will be going up the days that I am gone. Both of those videos are non-topical. They discuss things on the weekly chart, long-term technical analysis, and they have nothing to do with the short term, so those videos will be relevant when you see them. So watch out for those going up on Saturday and Sunday. Now, actually, without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Bitcoin is currently trading around $3,925 here on Coinbase and just a little over $4,000 on Bitfinex. Let's go ahead and jump on over to CoinMarketCap and get that out of the way first and foremost, because there are some things I want to discuss here. Bitcoin is currently trading still right below that $4,000 level with a daily volume of around $7.3 billion. That is lower than it has been in the last couple of days, but that is still quite a healthy amount of volume to see coming out of Bitcoin. I'm very happy to see a number that high. Bitcoin is up about 0.7% over the last 24 hours. And the market in the top 10 is somewhat split. We have two losers. We have XRP and Tether down, so really we only have one loser. That is XRP, but you guys know that that was always the case. I'm just kidding. I don't have that much shade to throw at XRP. It was just a joke. Get off my back, XRP fans. Anyway, if we sort by change over the last 24 hours here, then we can see that Quash is up 25%. That is the only double-digit gainer at the time of recording this video. And if we scroll down here, then we will see that about 60 of the cryptocurrencies here in the top 10, maybe 70 are in the green, and we do see some red. Not a very deep red. Repo's down is, Repo is getting repoed. It's down 8%. Nothing really all that major to write home about there. The couple of the things I want to talk about on CoinMarketCap were, as always, the volume. I like to see that Bitcoin's volume is increasing, or excuse me, not increasing, but it is very high, but also it is decreasing. This volume has dropped about $1 billion every single day. It was up around $9 billion 2 days ago, then $8 billion, then $7 billion. You can go back in time by using this tool, the historical snapshots on CoinMarketCap. Actually, depending on what day that did the snapshot, you may be able to. And you can also go back on the videos we've done here. The volume has been dropping, and that's very important. We can kind of see this volume trending down a little bit over the last couple of days. And while that's not exactly how you draw a trend line through data, of course, I'm just showing you guys and giving you guys an example of why we're seeing decreasing volume. And we are seeing decreasing volume, but you would expect for us to see decreasing volume because of this pennant that we're in. This one right here, Bitcoin has an uptrend of support and a downtrend of resistance. Now, these aren't the most well-defined trend lines in the world, so they have a little bit of room for play. For example, you could perhaps bring this trend line down something like that, and then maybe something like that. You could draw this in a couple of different ways. But the point is that no matter how you draw it, Bitcoin is currently finding itself in another symmetrical triangle pattern, in a consolidation pattern, and in what the topic of today's video is, a pennant. And this is very interesting because in yesterday's video, I talked about the ramifications. I think that's the third time I've said that word in today's video, and I probably said it once in the last 3 months. I talked about the ramifications of Bitcoin breaking bearish here. Now that's 4. I talked about the potential bad things that would happen if Bitcoin were to break bearish here and start moving to the downside. And I talked about the bullish things, but I didn't discuss this consolidation pattern. It wasn't as well developed yet, and also it wasn't as well developed yet. We'll leave it at that. This pennant is a pennant. Wow, this pennant is a pennant. The thing that you have to understand about pennants is that when pennants show up, they typically show up in the middle of a trend, and they typically show up in the middle of the continuation of that trend, because a pennant is a symmetrical triangle pattern. A symmetrical triangle pattern is a continuation pattern, which is a pennant, and a pennant is a continuation pattern. That is what is important about this. Bitcoin was moving bullish when it went into this triangle And since this is a continuation pattern, this means that more likely than not, 60 to 70% likelihood based off of just this technical analysis, we would see that Bitcoin would break bullish out of this. Now, that's a different percentage chance from whether or not Bitcoin is actually going to break bullish. I'm just saying that 70% of times when you see a pennant, then you're likely going to see a continuation pennant like this, a flag, if you will. Well, actually, this isn't a flag, it's a pennant. There's two different things there. When you see a pennant like this in the top of a trend, then you're typically going to see that trend continue. Now, even though this is typically going to break bullish, we do have some very strong resistance overhead that we have to keep in mind, but this pennant is suggesting that we're going to be breaking bullish. Now, with that said, even if Bitcoin breaks bearish, that's not the end of the world. In yesterday's video, I talked about how this breaking bearish could be a lot worse than Bitcoin breaking bearish in just about any other scenario because of the things that it could cause, because of the potential ramifications of a bearish breakout on Bitcoin. We do not want to see that happen. But I do want to show you guys in the short term how you can go about trading this market so that you'll be prepared for a bullish breakout and a bearish breakout. I already talked about what's going to happen in yesterday's video if Bitcoin breaks bullish or bearish, so I'm not going to go over that again. If you want, you can go back on the channel and you can watch that, but this video is going to be a little bit shorter anyway. But I do want to go ahead and go over how you guys can make money in this trade no matter what happens on Bitcoin. And I have talked about this in previous videos, but I want to rehash it because sometimes people forget and sometimes we have new people on the channel. If you are, hello, hit that subscribe button. Also drop a like. Shameless self-promotion. Anyway, we see that Bitcoin is currently trading around $3,930, right? Well, what happens if Bitcoin breaks bullish or breaks bearish? Well, as a technical analyst, the point of technical analysis is to get as good an idea of what the market is going to do before it does it as you possibly can. But it's very rare and actually impossible to get a 100% likelihood to know for 100% certain what Bitcoin is going to do ahead of time unless you are the one manipulating the market into doing that. And even then, you can't always be 100% sure because right before your trade goes through, the exchange could go down and go all Quadra CX on you or something. So it's not always, it is not possible to always predict with 100% certainty what Bitcoin is going to do. So it's good to have contingency plans for what will happen in both scenarios. So what are the two things that Bitcoin is likely to do here? What are the two trades you can make? Well, you can make a trade based off of Bitcoin breaking bullish, and you can make a trade based off of Bitcoin breaking bearish. Pretty simple, right? Well, yeah, because if Bitcoin trades sideways out here and doesn't do anything and continues trading sideways, well, there's not a trade to be made because Bitcoin traded sideways. You can make money off of Bitcoin going up, and you can make money off of Bitcoin going down, but you cannot make money off of Bitcoin going sideways. That is just not how that works. You can make money off of Bitcoin going up or down, not sideways. So, what are the two trades we can make? We can make a trade based off of Bitcoin going bullish or Bitcoin going bearish. Well, I say, as I've said in other videos, why not make both of those trades so that you make money no matter what happens? If you put a buy order right up here, and you're watching this, ideally you want to be watching these buy orders yourself, and I'll explain why in a second. If you put a buy order up here somewhere around maybe $3,600 to $3,980, $3,960 to $3,980, somewhere around there, you put a buy order in up there, and Bitcoin breaks bullish and starts heading up and goes through that level, then you buy some Bitcoin and you're able to let those profits ride until Bitcoin rallies higher, and then you can put a sell order up here after you bought in when you think Bitcoin is getting close to its price target. That's pretty simple. You can also do the inverse, and you can say, okay, well, I'm going to put a sell order for the Bitcoin I'm holding, or I'm going to put a short position opened right below this level of support, and if Bitcoin falls through it and it triggers it right there, then we will start either selling our Bitcoin or we will short our Bitcoin, and then no matter what we're doing, we're selling Bitcoin because shorting is just selling someone else's Bitcoin. Then we're going to come down here and wait for Bitcoin to crash. Maybe it crashes down to $3,650, let's say, and then we would start buying our Bitcoin back and getting the profit in the amount of Bitcoin we have, especially if you're shorting. So those are two ways you can go about making money in either scenario, whether or not Bitcoin breaks bullish or bearish. Now, there are some caveats that I want to talk about with this because this is kind of dangerous if you don't do it correctly. And the way that you have to do this is you have to watch it. It's okay to put these orders here and walk away, but you need to be careful because as we can see, Bitcoin is moving to the upside right here. It's currently against this level of resistance. And if Bitcoin does what it did over here recently, not that, right over here, see this little candlestick, this little wick up here? This wick is the nightmare of this kind of trade because sometimes Bitcoin will just wick up to $4,000 and then come right back down. it'll trigger your buy order, and then it'll crash, and it'll actually fall through your sell order, and you just lost 4 or 5%. Now, that's not that big a deal because you had your stop losses set up correctly, and you had your stop limits set up correctly with this order. I would say to make both of these orders at the same time, by the way. Don't just make one of them. This is why I'm saying you can make both trades at the same time. If you're careful, then you can avoid having a wick go up and trigger your buy order. And also, if you're careful, you can see that happen, and if Bitcoin's about to fall back below your buy order, then very quickly you can put a stop loss on your buy order. Let me say that again because that was a little complicated. If Bitcoin comes up here and rallies through your buy order and you bought Bitcoin, then you can put a stop loss literally right below where you bought the Bitcoin. So you're basically only risking the trading fee that it took for you to buy that Bitcoin. And if you do that, then you're going to be very, very safe. It's very easy to make money 100% of the time if you put a stop loss right below where you bought the Bitcoin, and you only hold on to that if Bitcoin goes above it and never goes back below it. And sometimes Bitcoin will do that, sometimes it won't. But when it does, it's an easy way to make basically free money. It's really just money on the table waiting to be had. Anyway, guys, none of that was financial advice. Do what you will with your own money. Do your own technical analysis. I want to make that very clear because the thing I don't want to have happen is someone to make a bad trade and then come back and blame me for their trade, and then I have to stop doing these YouTube videos. So, guys, always do your own trades at your own discretion. Be very careful. Do your own technical analysis. Take what I say into account. Take what plenty of other people say into account. Use your own mind to do your technical analysis and your thinking. Don't let someone else do your thinking for you. That's what my dad always said, and that is a good piece of advice. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be leaving for this trip in an hour or two, so I'm going to wrap this video up and put this video up. Anyway, guys, I do hope you did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy this video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button for my alarm that decided to go off. Well, we'll wrap the video up with copyrighted music. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always, and I will be back in 2 or 3 days. Peace!